welcome back to Swift for Imola qualifying and race. Currently at the moment there's not that many uh, people in the game, but I do hope that there will be a lot more traffic soon enough. As we see now, the first few cars are going to be leaving the pits beginning at the beginning of qualifying. Qualifying will be a 20-minute short qualifying session, and this will decide the grid for the race today. Now, I haven't been here for a while, so I don't really have a decent idea on who might be in charge, well, taking control of pole here. But with 20 minutes, we do have a decent amount of time to watch the lap times and see how this goes.
We can't hear any audio on stream.
Bruh.
Can you not?
No, it's just static.
1 second.
Well, I just explained so much about Amola, and it didn't get.
Oh, it's fixed now, I think.
Oh,
I'll announce it.
I don't think I want to explain that all again. Just check the stream. Just
Turn Wolfrock up gaming.
Alright.
yeah, I have a very quiet microphone today. But okay, if you couldn't hear me before, you might be able to hear me now. But welcome to qualifying at Amola for round. I kind of have forgotten what round it is at this point, as I haven't been paying too much attention. What round is it?
It is currently... Let's have a look. Imola.
Turn Roblox down a bit gaming, please, in your settings in Windows Mixer. It's way too loud, the cars.
Okay.
And actually commentate, guys, please. Thank you.
But right now, as we're looking at the timing table, Love My Jordy has set two fastest sectors, so he's probably going to set the first fastest lap qualifying, but is not going to decide how he starts. While Nika, on the other hand, down in 8th as he rolled out of the pits, has set a fastest and Love My Jordy sets a 127.259 as he now sits ahead of the rest of the grid. But down goes the McLaren with almost, I'd say that is more than a maybe 4 to 5 second gap from Love My Jordy. Nika does set a personal best sector 2 as of now, but going round with Nika here, it's most likely he could either set a personal best sector 1, but nope, sets a fastest sector 3. I'm having a brain fart. Sets a fastest sector 3 with a 126.532, about a second faster overall.
Turn your Discord output up gaming. He's way too quiet now.
Really? I just turned him up.
No, he's way too quiet.
No, here, give me a moment here. I'll fix my microphone on GE Logic. Yes, my mic volume's at 18.
Yeah, well, why the fuck is it like that? Because I can barely hear anything. I can't hear any game audio.
Okay, I'm trying to figure it out here. Give me a moment.
Okay, that's him fixed. Turn your desktop audio up a little.
Okay, yeah.
And turn your
level up to
turn your Roblox
100.
audio up, gaming.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, we should be good now.
Okay, that's good. I think.
Yeah. It should be. Anyways, Randomizer has now set a fastest sector 1, so let's take a check on his onboard there. Mess up a few laps of some drivers as they come around here.
Whoa, randomizer spinning out there.
Yep. That might be a decent effect to his lap time. But going, it's very hard to keep track of. And now he's down into the pits. He hasn't even been able to set a full time. He might be swapping tires. Yep, it does appear that he is swapping tires to head out on another lap. Can you set your Discord stream to a higher quality? Because it's very, like, pixely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks a bit better now. But, alright, now that we've solved a few issues, so it does seem now that after a few hot laps, they're going to be setting a lot of slower laps than it may look right now, as I have no idea what that Mercedes car is doing, if that's even a Mercedes, to be honest. Okay, yes it is. But the Mercedes does seem to be setting a few personal best times here, but that may not be enough, as now he is going to be starting another lap, or it might just be the timetable has gotten very confusing because he has passed the timing line.
Yeah.
Currently Sebi with a personal best sector 1, going down into confused now. I'm getting very confused because the colors on the stream shows the Mercedes as a green. Alright, but so watching so far Sebi's lap, he has set a decent sector through sector 1. Can he do that again into sector 2? Going around some of these following corners. I haven't been able to really fully scout out what track corners they are, but he has set a okay, what's the timetable doing? Because I don't think another sec. Okay, there we go. So he has set 2 personal best sectors in sector 1 and sector 2. Could he aim for perhaps a top 7 right now as it stands in qualifying with about 11 minutes left in this qualifying session? He does go wide out on that track, going down into that last corner onto the start-finish straight that's going to be into his lap here, and he does set himself into the top 6. was soon getting bumped down by randomizer setting a 126.238, if that is correct. Yes, 239. Okay. Setting a 239 now. The Ferrari of Alp 1. I am going to have to update the driver of the day form because there's so many just new random drivers I haven't seen. What's his driver number?
Who's that for?
Alp 1
P1.
is the driver. But I will get him down in the form.
Randomizer.
It does
Still.
seem, I've clicked off the stream for a moment, but down in the pit lane it does seem that Alp 1 might be coming in for a pit stop, so this will be a good time for me to see if, what his driver number is, because I'm very confused on most of the driver numbers, because they really haven't updated the Ferrari pit box
I
in
think
a
it's
few
number
rounds.
4.
Number 4? Yeah, it might.
McLaren and the Ferrari going into this turn neck and neck.
Numbers of the name. Okay, yeah, so Alp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 6, 5.
Is that a new set of mediums?
Right, so yeah, he's going to probably be seeing how long those mediums can last in those last 8 minutes in qualifying. Nika on the other hand, Nika Leinen, or however you pronounce that name, and that's an Alpine off the side of the track. That could be the Alpine of, oh god,
I think.
WSUP, or it's very hard to tell.
Let's take a look.
Could be the Alpine of WSUP, or
It's not WC.
I know. Nika has set a slow sector 2 that's going to tank his lap time of that 26.012. But now on board with the Mercedes of Sava, we are going to be going down that start-finish right now. We could expected get into. Nope, he does not move up or not move down. He is staying in that 7th position, and taking a look down at English there, he is not having a very good time with his lap times. There is a lot of
He's currently in the pit.
issues, but he has set a full slow lap with a 136.412. He could really pick it up at some point and be able to set a faster lap. But now, considering they are all changing tires, I think the laps may come to a stale point at this point, because no other driver has really set any other laps. And none have been faster, none have been slower. Let's see.
Asa has now made his way onto the grid. Let's see what he can get in.
Yeah. So yeah, it does appear that Acer and the other driver, English, have swapped cars
Ah,
for this race.
wow, Asa shoots up to P5 with a 127.
that a lot of the times now are gonna be getting real different. I mean, Love Majority there has set a fastest sector 1 with his teammate Randomizer setting a fastest sector 3. But now into the pits that Haas went, he's going to be coming out of the pits and perhaps be starting another lap now. Watching the Alpine of which driver is this? Is it
P1.
W Super Nika? Okay, Nika. So Nikolayan, or however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm butchering every driver's pronunciations today. With 5 minutes left of qualifying, they only have 5 laps most likely in order to see who gets on pole. But Nika is really defending that pole position with all his might right now, with Randomizer beginning another lap to try and dethrone him from there. So let's go on board with Randomizer if he is on track.
He is indeed. It's going to be very close indeed.
Yeah, but it does seem that it doesn't seem to look like the Haas and Williams are racing in a sense, even though it is qualifying, so they are just trying to see who sets the fastest lap, and well, this does really show a difference between racing lines that the drivers are using, as that Haas is really taking a very aggressive line, while that Williams is not going deep into the curbs and is really only putting maybe a wheel on a curb instead of going over the whole curb.
Playing it safe.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at W Suit, see how he's getting on.
There's Randomizer. He has set a fastest sector 1. This could be the chance he has with 3 minutes 30 seconds left in qualifying and counting down to set a pole position lap. As it stands, no other driver could probably get close to the duos of to the Alpine and Haas duo. The closest you can probably get is either the Red Bulls, who are really trying to get themselves high up on that listing there, because none of them could really get in a good position at this race, with only 2 drivers going to be missing out in points in this race. Since there's only 12 drivers in qualifying, that means that every other driver will have possibly failed to qualify for this Grand Prix. But Randomizer now sets a personal best sector 2 going down into that start-finish straight. He's going to take the fastest lap with a 125.653, which is about 400 tenths faster than that Alpine.
Gaming, turn your mic up in OBS.
But now with about 2 minutes 10 seconds in qualifying, this is probably going to be the last shots of laps they can take before qualifying ends and the race begins. Apparently in chat someone has mentioned that a Williams has flipped over. That's going to be very unique to try and find in this.
Is that Iber? It is Iber.
Giant list.
I think it is Iber.
Okay, but Randomizer really is staying ahead right now, with Nika and W so really trying their best right now. But that Alpine of W Soup or Nika is around, so he is really he's really put down that lap with only 59 seconds left in qualifying. He's not going to be able to increase on their times, but it is going to be neat to see if any other drivers will be able to increase their times with the amount of time left in qualifying. With 45 seconds and counting down, this is going to be their last lap of qualifying, with qualifying most likely ending after that timer goes down, and we will be able to see the final starting position for the grid today in the race. But it is going to be, currently, if it ends as expected, it will probably be randomizer on pole and Nicolin locking out that front row and leaving their teammates in the second row and third and fourth. But you never know. But as Niz, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the finish of qualifying. Drivers who may have just started their laps will have this final lap. That's W Soup. He does not go any higher. Sava stays down in 8th as Nika may not be able to increase his pole position chances, but randomizer sure may be able to, but nope, he won't be able to either if he's in the pit lane. But Nicolai now going down into that back area, he now locks himself in second position. Let's hope that Love Majority does not take that away from him, most likely. Now, behind the McLaren there of what could be Max W, or took for granted, but it is unknown because it is very difficult to tell which driver is which during these very quick laps. But he is going to see if he can get himself higher up in those positions, with most other drivers having, well, finished their laps. That's one McLaren off on the side, so that's going to be a massive for the McLaren team. But now, as it stands out, finishes his lap. He does not go any faster. Took for granted finishes his lap, not even faster. Most of the other drivers are now either doing cooldown laps. They will now be heading into the pits and getting ready for the race. So I'm going to take a guess, and until then we will be on intermission until the race begins. 30 seconds until the formation lap. Well,
welcome back,
okay then.
everyone.
Well, you know, as it stands, the laps are going. So, I'm gonna see how fast I can speedrun the grid lineup today. So our grid lineup today is Randomizer on pole with a 125.653, Nikolainen and the number 69 car, locking out the front row. The Alpine's teammate W Soup in third place with Love My Jordy in fourth as the formation LARP goes underway. Formation lap goes underway. Acer is in fifth, missing his grid slot. Alpine sixth, missing his grid slot. Max W seventh, Sava in eighth, Sebi in ninth. Iber is in 10th. Took for granted sits in 11th. And finishing off the back row is English in 12th place. But as they begin formation lap, they're going to be going around. I'm going to go place my Roblox character on the Ferrari building.
They still need to reset the timer board.
They most likely will once everyone's lined up.
Let's see.
This is going to be a decent race today. Oh, that's weird.
Choice of tyre wear. A lot of them are going for hards. Some of them go for mediums, and then a couple on softs.
Yep. If you want, you can commentate the formation lap, and I'll try and commentate lap 1 to the best of my ability. So right now I'm gonna down as much water as I can.
Right, as they make.
Oh, that's surprising. More the Ferraris have shown up. That's weird.
Wow.
There's a Haas, number 15. That's weird. So it appears Love My Jordy has really just specced out of the race, leaving himself with Mr. Macho.
The drivers now make their way back onto the grid. Formation lap is now finished.
And that Ferrari. What number is that Ferrari? I'd like to be able to see.
Let me tell. $27. Casually the Red Bull out of position.
Well, everyone's lined up on the grid. They should all be in their proper grid slots.
We're missing two
but there is
cars.
2 cars missing from the grid here.
I think that's... No, the Red Bull's just come in. Could it be one of the other Ferraris? The timer board is set, 36 laps. go.
Well, that's 5 red lights on, and it's going to be lights out and away we going. And the cars are now filing out of that zone. If you could spectate. Nope, we can't.
We can't at the moment.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to start. I'm gonna just have to fly speed. Alright, well, starting the first racing lap, they've already gone through the first set of corners, but the Alpine and that Haas are really scrapping out down on this first lap, because this is the only time where DRS is not going to be in effect. So this is very important. These are the very important few laps, because a massive gap hasn't formed yet, which could entirely ruin the points of the race. But as we see, the Alpine are really trying to keep themselves going, while that Haas is really trying to defend himself to keep himself in the lead. Randomizer is going to be falling behind the Alpines now with that other Alpine pulling ahead of Randomizer. It's going to be going down into these final 2 corners, going down into that start-finish straight, which will decide the standings of the first lap. But it's going to be very, very difficult to get in. But W Soup has pulled ahead, with Nika pulling ahead with the rest, with Nika putting himself in 3rd and keeping himself ahead. But now watching as the major gaps are starting to form in this 23 on this 36 lap race, we're going to see W Soup keeping himself ahead, while Nika is going to be scrapping down with the car of Randomizer. If we can get on board with Nika to see his perspective of what's currently going on, I'd like to see that. Nika, but it's really impossible to do because those 2 Alpines are really working well together at the current moment. But it is going to get very, very hard to deal with. But as they are now looping down, round, and I'm not really keeping track of the turns, but we're going down into these last 2 corners because I can see the houses. And that Alpine goes off wide over the sausage curb. She has now lost handful of positions. Going into finish lap 2, they go with that car racing. It's Mr. Macho leading. Mr. Macho with the fastest lap of the race. Now it does look like it could be. Now it is Haas holding out the position 1 and position 2, with W Soup and Nika in 3 and 4. Sava has overtook both that Mercedes. The Mercedes of Sava has overtaken both the McLaren of Took for Granted and English. He's really pushing himself together, but English is trying to scrap down with that McLaren down in that, going into that little chicane zone, but he is going to be able to pull ahead. Will he be able to pull ahead of that McLaren? Yes, he will. No, he can't. Yes, he cannot pull ahead of that McLaren, but he will have more chances in that lap. But Max W has set a fastest sector 1, but Took for Granted is really trying to catch himself up to Sava, while English is really trying to catch himself up to Took for Granted. And I need water.
That's a wide
McLaren's
turn.
on around. He's now sitting down in last place, but the midfield is a real good zone for scrapping out against other cars. But is it going to be that Red Bull taking ahead? It does seem like it. English, has he made it ahead? Yes, he has made it ahead. He is now trying to chase down that Mercedes of Sava. But can Sava keep himself in front because it's at the fastest lap of the race? God, holy. English still trying to keep himself, getting closer to that Mercedes, going wide, keeping himself inside on that line, but down to the DRS zone. Does he have DRS? No, he does not. Took for Granted keeps himself ahead, and Sebi is now down into 10th place, with English keeping himself up into 9th. took for granted is really going harsh here, but he is going to keep himself in the mood to catch up to that Mercedes. Max W and Iver do seem to have a decent gap, so Max W is basically on his own trying to catch up to Iver. But let's take a look back at the front of the grid here. Randomizer and Guia's trying to keep himself from trying to unlap himself here, which is going to be a very big thing, even though the blue flag should have came into play. But around Randomizer goes, he is now knocked down. Guia has unlapped himself. He is now going to need to pull himself ahead. Can he pull himself from P12 to P1 today? It is fully unknown. But if he can get himself up to that midfield, it may be a decent idea. But seeing now, as Took and English, maybe scrapping that English, does get slightly ahead. Took for granted, really pushing himself as fast as he can to catch up to that Mercedes. That Mercedes is really holding himself together going down into that start-finish straight. Is he going to be within DRS? It is unknown as of now, but as he crosses, we're going to take a look at Sava. Sava's really keeping his cool here despite the amount of pressure being put on him. Took for granted has appeared to make the overtake, leaving himself down behind, even though that McLaren is actually behind him. But English is now most likely sitting alone farther back. We can go take a look at Guia, perhaps. Guia, yeah, fighting still amongst himself to keep himself from getting lapped. If he can keep himself from getting lapped, he could keep himself from falling back. But if he does fall back, that is going to be a major issue. The only place he could possibly unlap himself is staying out longer during pit stop time. But it is going to be... Okay, you're going to need to take over for a bit.
Wow, that Alpine really
losing it.
Slammed it into the fence. Let's take a look at Nico with the fastest lap so far. It's very close. The top three. Actually, the top two. W Soup. So close behind.
I'm surprised we haven't seen...
It's going to be a really big fight for the top positions. Took for granted taking P6.
Alright. I'm very surprised they haven't really pulled into the fact that there hasn't been a decent... There hasn't been a team radio in a hot minute. I am surprised. But this is pretty intense right now.
Whoa.
I have really lost the enthusiasm.
Took for granted, just spun out there.
Took for granted, spun around. He might be down further now, but he is really trying to hold himself ahead. But if he can keep himself ahead of that Mercedes, he is going to be in a clear zone because that Mercedes is really trying to catch him here. But W Soup has overtaken Mr. Macho. Nicolai is still holding that fastest lap as the Alpine and the Haas scrap down into turn 1. Which one of them is going to keep ahead in turn 1? There's a team radio, and there was nothing in there.
Oh, that's a shame.
Such a shame. Almost had a team radio.
Which is a new addition to Swift. It is really close between W Soup and Mr. Macho. Literally seconds away from each other. But Nika still with the fastest lap so far.
I really set my character up in a good position. I'm in that little straight zone. If you look up, you might see me floating. But anyways, W Soup is holding himself behind Mr. Macho. Mr. Macho is really keeping himself ahead, ending this lap. Just a reminder: in 7 laps, Driver of the Day forms will be open. Now, I'm really still hoping for a team radio. That's like the one thing I'm on the lookout for.
And Mr. Macho takes the lead with WCP2.
Yeah, it is very. This is a very enthusiastic race right now. But Sava, can we get a look at Sava? He is really not here on his own. But he does seem to be holding himself together on those hard tires. Now, let's take a look at Took for Granted or Max W, any of your choice. It does appear that Max W is with his teammate, so it is going to be an scrap in between those two McLarens.
Whoa, did someone just jump out? I think Took just jumped out. What just happened there?
It's going to be Took out of the race. He accidentally pressed the space bar.
Ah, driver's worst nightmare. Is that a no helmet on Sava on Mercedes?
Seems a little unsafe, but I mean, it's Roblox, so
It's
safety
Roblox.
isn't really a priority.
Let's take a look at English. See what that. There's a massive gap now between Sava and English, and Took for Granted. I think it was since Took spun out, which meant Max also spun out.
My dad's looking for something, so I can't really commentate right now.
It's alright. Let's take a look at the top 3. Mr. Macho currently in the lead. W Soup slowly behind him. I think W Soup has now taken the lead. He has indeed. Literally a couple of seconds in this.
Took for Granted is running back into his pit box to get another car. I don't think he may be allowed to do that.
Oh, is that him in the car now?
Yep, it is.
Max has just pitted and is now P6. Can he beat the Williams out? Yes, he can. Just beats Iber out the pits. And W Soup takes the lead once again with Mr. Macho P2. It's been a brilliant race from both of them so far.
I haven't gotten any team radios yet.
No, we had
I'm still hoping out for him.
Nika still with the fastest lap so far. But only P3 and 6 seconds behind. There's a massive gap now between Randomize and the top 3. 30 seconds behind. English has just been lapped.
So that's going to be sad for Red Bull, having a main driver lap.
There's a massive gap. Sava 50 seconds behind the leader. Let's take a look at Max. Currently pitting at the moment. Again. That's going to cost him.
That's costing him a lot. He has basically been lapped at this point. English and Guia, they could be scrapping out between each other right now. No, it does not appear to be that way.
W Soup still in the lead. is Sebi? Yes, Sebi in P11. Took has come out since jumping out of his car. He's back on the grid, but in P10 he's got a lot of work to do. Let's take a look at W Soup. Currently, Mr. Macho in the lead with, who's that? I think that's a McLaren racing with them. That has currently been lapped. I think that is Max, or is it Took? That is Max currently. W Soup and Mr. Macho coming in. Mr. Macho currently in the lead. And takes the lead. W Soup 1 second behind. Max has now officially been lapped. Nika is now has lost and is now 8 seconds behind. I think the top three are both Alpine. Alpine, yeah, Alpine, top three. Let's take a look back to the bottom. Let's have a look at Iber, see how he's getting on. For Williams. Massive gap in front and behind him.
I think I have perfectly recovered my throat from the hell that was the first few laps. But I will now be announcing that the driver of the day form is now open.
Sava now a minute behind. Iber a minute behind. A lot of work to be done. Took for granted is now 2 laps behind.
Alright. Anyways. So, I'm going to be running the driver of the day form now.
W Suit coming out of the pits. Currently, I'll be P3 now.
The driver of the day form has been opened for those who do wish to participate in voting for a driver of the day. But still 0 team radios, and this has been a team radio-less race for us.
W Suit falling behind with 8 seconds behind Mr. Macho.
Mr. Macho has basically just been holding the lead now. And basically, now that there's a giant gap, it's just one car on his own here. So it is going to be a lot more calm compared to lap 1 here.
But the thing is, he has got to pit.
Yeah.
And he pits
Took
now.
for granted has just overtook his teammate. Yep, he pits. That's going to be... all the cars who have the chance to unlap themselves can unlap themselves.
And it's a chance for... oh! Nika goes
And
P2.
Nika sets himself into P2, and he's now going to be going absolutely crazy. Now, but Sava has managed to pull himself into P5. That's amazing for that Mercedes down there.
What has happened to W Soup? Now P4, randomised in.
W Soup has been losing himself this entire race, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's all out of nowhere, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's just, well, at one point he was doing perfectly fine. Next point, uh-oh, races out, uh-oh, and everything has ended up into a hellhole for him.
But Randomizer's really pulled it back so far.
And that's a good thing for him.
He's currently being chased by W Soup.
But this is going to be very good for the rest of the drivers here. But I can't really put any enthusiasm in right now because it's really tiring to do for a long period of time. And also when there's not that much close racing, there's barely a purpose for it.
And we've had no team radio yet, which hopefully we do have.
That's like the one thing we have been mentioning for the past 5 minutes.
Ibert overtakes Sava.
That's going to set himself ahead there. Randomizer does keep himself ahead. It could be another Haas 1-2, which is going to be amazing because Haas has scored a couple 1-2s this season, which has
they've been doing really
kept
well.
themselves doing good.
Randomizer really going for P1. Still Nika with the fastest lap of this race so far.
I was about to say, is that one of the Haas's going slow off the ground?
Let's take a look at the bottom of the grid. Let's have a look at English. Oh, I don't think he's racing anymore. Max is now lapped. Mr. Macho's got a massive lead so far. But Randomizer is gaining. Nika is also catching up. Nika with another fastest lap. Amazing by him so far.
Currently, this is a very good race, and if we would like some a bit of intensity here, I can see driver of the day results so far. Holy! So Nicolon with 5 votes has an overwhelming majority of 55.6% of the votes. English standing in for number 70 is English, who's standing in at the moment. And the rest of the drivers only have 1 vote, and that's 11.1% of the vote for all of them.
Who would be your driver of the day so far?
So far, I'm gonna say from... I'm gonna say, I don't really have a favorite right now. But, you know, so far, I'm gonna say, well, Nika has been keeping himself ahead, and well, no, Guia was a lap down. He is, in my opinion, my driver of the day right now.
Fastest lap.
If he can pull himself into first, that'd be the best comeback I've ever seen.
But it's still the two has in P1 and P2, Mr. Macho and Randomizer. Randomizer's currently 14 seconds behind. Nika 18.
Yep, with 36 laps, 18 of them completed, is going to be a real big time for them to try and get themselves moving here. But, you know, if Guia could recover himself into first, I'd feel like just rig it so all votes go to Guia.
Wow, Guia has
Honestly.
really come back. Slowly climbing up. Currently P5.
Where's Guia on the list? We have to put on it.
Guia is currently a minute behind the leader.
I mean, the man just goes around everywhere and does what he has to do. As long as he keeps himself ahead.
He'll definitely need a good pit stop as well, if he wants to keep the position. Nika currently gaining on Randomizer. W Soup just sat at P4. What has happened to W Soup? Mr. Macho sitting comfortably in P1. Still got loads of time.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I may or may not have made a joke that's Guia followed by the goat emoji.
Let's take a look towards the bottom. Took for granted, P9. Sava dropped all the way down to P8, but is currently fighting for the P7 position with Max. There's still time to come back in this race. W Soup gaining 23 seconds. Nika gaining. Randomizer gaining on the leader. Iba is currently lapped. Guia, let's take a look.
Guia's in 5th place. If he can catch up to W Soap, that's gonna be absolutely amazing for him. If he gets on the podium, that's just a win.
He's my driver of the day if he gets on the podium. Let's have a look. Guia, a minute behind.
Guia is gonna be closing that gap if he can.
He's really got to push as soon as W Soup pits. That's his chance to really get back his time. Sava's still fighting out with Max for the P7 position. Who's that? Is that? Sava and Max, and I think that's W Soup that is also behind them. Max takes a funny turn there. W Soup with the fastest Sector 1.
Close, but with Nika starting to lap people, if Guia can keep himself ahead, but let's check Guia, because he is actually closing himself down.
He is.
He's lapping that McLaren right now. This man is absolutely on as much as he needs to get ahead of every other driver here.
Wow, Nika takes the second position. Randomized just behind him.
He's still really trying to keep himself ahead there. But, well, as of right now, Iber has been lapped, and Guia is just going absolutely ape shit against everyone.
Sava overtakes Max to go P7. Let's take a look at Nika and Randomized. Really fighting it out there.
They're really going at each other with like 1 second between each other. It's going to be a real intense fight here, but it's all they can do to keep themselves ahead of everyone, right?
Depends, because they might need to pit, and that could disrupt one of them, and that could give the other one an advantage. Oh, is that, who's that? I think Iber has just spun out.
Well, that's gonna be a problem for him then.
Mr. Macho currently sitting on P1 comfortably. Surely he can keep his P1 position.
Guia is now been lapped by what may be the looks of it. But he just started his first sector while every other driver hasn't.
Wow.
Restarted their finished their first sector. So he really is a fast driver, and I mean he does seem like he has a good chance in this.
He's done really well so far. If he can just carry on, because he is gaining on W Soup.
Yeah, as the other drivers finish their first sectors, he's on his way to finish his third sector here.
Oh, a bit of a wobble there on the last sector. Mr. Macho, he's got to be careful because Nika is currently gaining on him. I think Mr. Macho needs to pit soon.
This has been a very clean race so far.
Yeah,
no major crashes, no major issues. And
Yeah.
I mean, Guia's catching up to them. The day of reckoning. As it is now, Nika has been keeping himself in the second place with W Soup, well, behind him with a giant margin there.
Oh, hang on. Randomizer drops to P4. W Soup overtakes him.
That's gonna he's getting closed in on by Guia at this point. Let's check where Guia is. Yeah, Guia's just finishing his lap while everyone else is just starting.
Wow. He has a really good chance.
I mean, again, it could be whoever takes that checkered flag first is really in business here. Yeah, so between Guia and Randomizer there, that's 20, so that's 1 minute and 12 minus 25. So that's a 47-second gap. That man is closing already.
Wow. Nika currently gaining 7 seconds behind Mr. Macho. W Soup very far behind with 17 seconds. Randomizer 23. Nika currently taking the lead. Amazing stuff by Nika so far. Fastest lap of the race and is now P1 with Mr. Macho currently behind. W Soup has gained and is gaining at the moment. Randomizer is as well. Guia 1 minute and 13. Currently in the pits. Bit of a slow pit stop. That's going to really affect him. Let's have a look at Sava. Sava currently P6, just behind Guia. And Sava spins out. That's going to cost him. Guia really pushing the car. Really pushing it. Trying it to W Soup. takes it a bit wide at the houses. Mr. Macho takes the lead in front of Nika. I think he's about to lap Iber. DRS is now enabled. Nika is currently 9 seconds behind. Let's take a look. Randomizer is very close behind him. It's going to be a close one between them two for P2. Nika takes a slight couple of seconds in front of Randomizer. W-Soup currently losing. Guia. I think he's about to lap McLaren. I think that's Max, or is it Took? It may be Took. Let's have a look. That is in fact, he's about to lap Max. W-Soup with the fastest sector 1 so far. Can he set a fastest lap? W-Soup takes the corner too near to the post. He currently has a McLaren behind him. Nika 7 seconds behind. Currently a few seconds in front of Randomize. W-Soup definitely not going to be setting the fastest lap. 22 seconds behind. Let's take a look. Sava. Sava's managed to hold a good P6 at the moment, really holding his position. Well, I guess Max and Took both lapped twice. Take a look at Randomizer and Nika. Randomizer slowly catching up to Nika with only 6 laps left to go. It's going to be a tough to get the top 3 spots with only 6 laps to go.
.com.
And Mr. Macho currently in the lead. Nika and Randomize still going at each other. really pushing their cars to the best of their ability, neck and neck. Such a close one between them.
Why don't you commentate the last few laps?
Okay. It's going to be very interesting. Nico and Randomize. W Soup really far behind. Let's take a look on Guia. Guia, I think he's about to lap. Oh no, wait, hang on. Who's that? Is that a Has? It is a Has. I think that is Mr. Macho. He currently has the fastest lap of the race so far. Taken that position from Nika. He has currently lapped Guia. Guia is very close behind him. Guia is now currently lapped. He's so close to unlapping himself. Randomised P2 with the new fastest lap, with Nika slowly close behind him. I think that's Max, could be Max from McLaren, racing them even though he doesn't need to. Really close. Randomise and Nika. It's so close. Mr. Macho currently tailing behind Guia. Guia trying his best to being out unlapped. Really close between them two. Guia not holding back. Takes the turn way too wide and goes into the humps. Ah, he's lost it. Guia takes the turn too wide and loses it. Mr. Macho comfortably in the lead. Guia still lapped. W Soup with the fastest sector 2. Randomize is now a couple seconds in front of Nika. But still, Nika's caught up with him. So close, 33 out of 36 laps to go. 3 laps to go. Is it going to be a both Has on the podium today? And I think Guia has just crashed out. Is that Sava crashing into the fence as well? Obviously the tyres are wearing out. But only a couple laps, 2 laps to go. Nika takes P2 in front of Randomize. Brilliant racing from both of them today. Still, Nika and Randomize really battling it out to the last few minutes. Mr. Macho comfortably in the lead. Guia currently lapped along with Sava, Max and Took. Sava close behind Max. Was that Max or was that... I think that is Took. About to lap him again. No, it's Max. Max skids out but managed to recovers it. Now Sava's spun out. The tyres are really showing that they're worn off now. But only one lap to go. It's going to be extremely tight. Mr. Macho still in the lead. Surely he has this in the bag. Randomised with sector, fastest sector 1. Nika with the fastest lap. A couple of seconds in it for both of them, both fighting for P2. Let's take a look on W Soup. W Soup trailing behind.